king is born. I told you before, a king is born. Now I told you before, king is born.
No fighter in the history has done what Floyd Mayweather has done.
I'm gonna knock him out, mark my words.
King is born.
Mayweather versus McGregor, Saturday, August 26th at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view.
Demetrius Johnson, one title defense away from UFC immortality.
That's the best pound-for-pound fighter ever.
Ray Borg.
This kid is special.
Shevchenko will be next for the champion, Amanda Nunes.
It doesn't get any better than that. Can't wait.
Potential title shot looming.
Two destroyers. Junior Dos Santos can end the fight with one punch.
Francis Ngannou.
He's a freak. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
History is up for grabs.
Floyd Mayweather coming out of retirement after 2 years, seeking his 50th victory against the MMA superstar Conor McGregor. This is what the fans wanted.
I'm gonna knock him out inside 4 rounds. Your face, or you going out on your back?
There they are, ladies and gentlemen.
He's too small. This man will be unconscious.
The fans can't fight for you. Yeah! We just get started, baby! I'm the truth, man. Get away, beat me. It's obvious. I'm getting under his skin.
This is my boxing ring. I am boxing.
I'm gonna do what I wanna do. When I wanna do it.
You scared of a face-off today?
Floyd is going to be in for the shock. I'm going to play the fight my way.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you for the official weigh-in.
All right, fans, here we go. It's time for the bout you've all been waiting for.
This crowd going wild.
Look at that.
He is in trouble. Look at his legs.
The crowd is electric.
Tyson playing it on. Down goes Bruno. Into the rope. The right by Barkley and Hearns is down. Oh, down goes Chavez for the first time in his career. A shot by Evander Holyfield. Castillo's in trouble. What a fight! It's showtime!
Welcome to Las Vegas for this Showtime Boxing Special Edition. It's the official weigh-in for the biggest fight of the year and possibly in the history of combat sports. It's Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. We're live at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The fans, well, they lined up early this morning to get a close-up look at two of the biggest superstars in combat sports. The build-up to this event has been filled with verbal fireworks, but now fight night is nearly here. The doors, they were opened at 11:30 this morning, and the fans poured into this arena ready to greet their favorites. Now they're ready to welcome the main event stars to the stage as we are approaching the start of the weigh-in of Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Custer. That's Mauro Ranallo. That's Al Bernstein. That's Paulie Malignaggi. You know, guys, when you see this crowd that we got behind us, the anticipation is really quite apparent that this is more than just a fight. It's really an event, an extravaganza of enormous proportions. By the way, the stars, they're in the house. Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, they arrived here at the T-Mobile Arena just a few minutes ago. They are ready to take the stage for the weigh-in and final face-off before tomorrow's pay-per-view. From the time that this fight was first announced just 6 weeks ago, the road to Maymac, well, it has been a wild ride.
You know, they said this fight could never be made.
More money, Mayweather! The notorious Conor McGregor!
July 2nd, 2015. Conan O'Brien plants the seed. September 12th. Floyd defeats Andre Berto, then promptly retires. The Notorious KOs Jose Aldo to win the featherweight title, but soon after suffers his first UFC loss against Nate Diaz. Reports surface that an agreement is signed. Dana White quickly refused. Conor tweets a different sentiment.
There's no doubt in my mind.
He never questioned whether the deal was going to get done.
But the media continues to question. Meanwhile, Floyd's enjoying his retirement.
Every day, everyone is asking, Floyd, are you coming back? You just never know. Right now, I'm happy on this side.
Or maybe not.
Do I think the fight will happen? Absolutely.
Conor's response?
Man, stay in your lane. This is for the big boys.
Brendan Schaub disagrees.
Who is bigger than Conor McGregor?
Definitely not Floyd, according to Conor.
This has become a global phenomenon, something that has simply transcended all of combat sports.
Another round of rumors, another false alarm. McGregor redeems himself against Nate Diaz.
I'm looking around, I don't know what anyone else has for me around here. I might have to jump up, drag Floyd Mayweather out of bed, see what the he's at again.
Conor's rise continues as he finishes Eddie Alvarez. Mayweather offers McGregor $15 million. Dana White counteroffers. Mayweather rejects with a clever jab. And soon after, announces he's officially out of retirement, prompting a confident reaction from McGregor.
I don't fight like nobody else. You can't prepare for me.
With momentum building, Dana White speculates on potential earnings.
Check, please. Chickity check.
Conor and the UFC come to terms, leaving the unthinkable one signature away.
Not only do I think I will beat him, I think I will also make it look easy.
We'll just find out fight night.
Floyd signs the dotted line and the fight is officially announced.
This is the fight that the fans kind of demanded.
People kept talking about it and talking about it. Ultimately, it became a reality.
I have many years left in the fight game, so I'm just trying to capitalize.
The people that said I only came back for the money. Money.
And with that, the fight between boxing's best and MMA's brightest is finally upon us.
I'm gonna outbox this man at his own game.
I was born a fighter. I would die a fighter.
We'll put the pressure on him and break this old man.
I don't worry about any fight. No fight on earth can beat me. I'm the best. I've always been the best.
You know, it's interesting to see how these two very different personalities have reached this pinnacle. Back here with my guys, and you know, Al, you called Floyd Mayweather's first professional bout, and that was 21 years ago. And here we are, and the guy's still unbeaten.
It's been an amazing journey with successes inside the rings, successes outside the ring, some controversies both inside and outside the ring, but all along the way, the one common thread has been he has been the star of and also has helped create some really big extravaganza spectacles. None as big as what we're seeing here, and this is the most unconventional.
You know, Paulie, his opponent here, when we talk about Conor McGregor, you've spent some time in that McGregor camp. You've sparred with him, and let's be honest, lately you guys have had some major issues with one another, but I want you to put that aside. In your opinion, what got him here?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Sometimes timing is everything in life, but this is a guy who has a very big, polarizing personality, as well as a lot of skill, a lot of talent. He's also been able to combine those two. With the fall of Ronda Rousey, who was the next big star in UFC, he kind of filled that vacuum between his personality and the style that he fought at, dynamic knockouts, a big personality, and you know, you fill that vacuum little by little.
You know, Mo, you got a unique perspective. You've covered MMA, boxing for a long time. Did you ever think that you'd see the two intersect and it be on the stage of this magnitude?
No, not of this magnitude, but it's all of my worlds colliding with this event. It's the promotional hype of WrestleMania. You have a UFC champion in Conor McGregor daring to be great, having the audacity to go beyond the wall of the octagon and step into the boxing ring against a man who is considered the greatest boxer of his era, one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. Yet somehow Mystic Mac has convinced not only himself, but the legions of fans, what if? What if?
Yeah.
And that's what this is based on.
You're
it's
right.
hope, it's an extravaganza, it's a spectacle.
I'll tell you what, the atmosphere here at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, it's electric. It's about to get even louder as these guys walk to the stage. Let's get it started. Here is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you and welcome to the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada for the official weigh-in for our main event of the evening and our huge pay-per-view event, Mayweather versus McGregor in the money fight. 12 rounds of boxing and a super welterweight special attraction. All of the action is brought to you by Mayweather Promotions in association with the MGM Grand Las Vegas Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach and Showtime pay-per-view. And now, ladies and gentlemen, first, please welcome to the stage the two-division UFC champion of the world from Dublin, Ireland. Please welcome the current and reigning UFC lightweight champion of the world, the renowned MMA superstar, the notorious Conor McGregor. And now, making his way to the stage in his return to boxing, here is the former 5-division world champion from Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, here is boxing's undisputed top attraction. Here is the undefeated 11-time champion of the world, the sensational Floyd Money Mayweather. And now, ladies and gentlemen, first we invite to the scale MMA's undisputed top attraction, the hard-hitting and widely popular two-division UFC champion of the world, the notorious Conor McGregor.
Hold on, bro. Almost there. 153.
The notorious Conor McGregor weighs in at a ready 153 pounds.
Never this way.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to the scale, a man who is undefeated in his remarkable 21-year campaign, introducing boxing's future Hall of Famer and undisputed top attraction, the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather.
Floyd. Yo, Floyd, let me get your weight, baby. Floyd, thank you. Hey, he needs to get the back up. Let me get your weight, bro. Thanks, Floyd. Oh, yeah. All right, quit fucking moving. Back up. 149 and a half. 149 and a half.
Mayweather weighs in at a trim and ready 149 and 1/2 pounds. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the money fight. Mayweather versus McGregor. 12 rounds of boxing in the super welterweight division.
Well, there you have it. Conor McGregor weighs in at 153. Floyd Mayweather at 149 and a half. Of course, the weight limit is 154. This will be the 4th time Floyd Mayweather has fought at this weight. He has never fought at 154. He's always come under the weight limit. In fact, the highest he's ever come in is at 151, and that was against Miguel Cotto, Al.
Very smart move on his part. He is essentially a welterweight, and to come just 2 pounds over, a comfortable weight for him.
And Conor McGregor at 153, there were rumors maybe he wouldn't make weight. Hey, he makes weight and under a pound under.
Yeah. I felt like he would make the weight. You know, he was about 168 when I was in camp a month ago, so I felt like he would make the weight.
Let's go down to the stage. Here's Jim Gray now with Conor McGregor.
All right, thank you very much.
He looks like dog shit. You know that. He looks blown out, full of water. He's not going to keep my pace. Trust me on that. That's the worst shape I've ever seen him.
You had a lot to say there on that face-off. What were you telling him?
That's the worst shape I've ever seen him. He looks blown out of shape. I'm going to breeze through him. Trust me on that.
There was a lot of talk about you having trouble making weight. You did not.
Yeah, 153.
How tough was it?
153. I'm a professional. I make weight. It's sacrifice. It's dedication. It's focus. But I make it. And that's it. Look at me. I'm in peak physical condition. I put in the work, as everyone can tell. I'm ready.
What will you come into the ring weighing tomorrow night? Do you have an idea?
A lot bigger. A lot bigger than him.
170?
I'd say close to 170, yes.
What do you make of the fact that this crowd here seems to be predominantly for you?
There's a saying, you'll never beat the Irish, and that's it. You can't beat us. We roll in and we take over wherever we want. Las Vegas is Ireland now.
He said to you at the press conference, in boxing, not only do you have to be able to give it, you have to be able to take it.
Yeah.
Are you convinced in a boxing match
I'll
that you will
stomp
be
my
able
foot.
to take it?
I'll stomp my foot right in the center of that ring. I won't go nowhere other than the center of that ring. So let's go. Let's see who can take it. He's over there twiddling his thumbs, twitching away. I see a man afraid. That's it. We'll see tomorrow.
Conor, thank you. Best of luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Thank you. Let's walk across the way and come on over and talk to Floyd Money Mayweather as he finishes lacing up his shoes. Floyd, he had a lot to say to you there, and you just remained poised and calm and quiet. Was it tough to stay quiet?
I've been here before. I know what it takes when it's a fight of this magnitude. So I did a lot of this. He did a lot of this. But tomorrow, it comes down to the fighters.
149 pounds. You had 6 more pounds that you could have taken, but you elected not to. Why come in at this weight?
Because
particularly when you know he's going to be 170 tomorrow night.
Weight doesn't win fights. Fighting wins fights.
You said the other day, you got to give it, but you also got to be able to take it. Now that all the talk is done, do you believe in your heart that he'll be able to take it?
It won't go the distance. Mark my word.
This was the last time in your life that you will ever have to get on a scale. Has that set in, and what role does that play that this will be your final fight?
I just want to thank the fans. I'm not really worried about the scale or the last time. This will be Conor McGregor's last fight also.
Does it bother you that you're here at home and there's all these fans who've come from wherever they've come from, seemingly, for Conor?
The fans can't fight for you. It comes down to the two competitors. The fans cannot fight for you. 49 times I went out there, it was one-on-one.
Floyd, we look forward to tomorrow night. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Brian Custer, upstairs to you.
Well, Jim Gray, thank you very much as you take a look at the crowd here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Boy, that was electrifying. Brian Custer back here with Mauro Ranallo, Al Burns, St. Paul, and Malignaggi. Guys, look who has joined us here. Hey, look, he's one of MMA's all-time greats. He's a UFC Hall of Famer, highly regarded as one of MMA's top broadcast analysts, the one and only Pat Miletich. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, we're going to get to you in a second here, big man, but give me your thoughts on what you heard, what you saw out of Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
I saw a lot of animated, a lot of nervous energy coursing through the veins of Conor McGregor, definitely trying to get under Floyd Mayweather's skin. I don't think he was successful. Floyd, he said it, he's been here before, business as usual, but I have to say how impressive it is how Conor McGregor has connected with his legion of fans, and man, they are drinking his Kool-Aid.
Let me tell you, you see Conor McGregor there as he walks out of the arena. He says, I'm going to breeze through that man. He comes in at 153. Al, I thought it was interesting. Floyd Mayweather says, not only going to be my last fight, it will be his last fight as well. What'd you think?
In boxing, it could be, I guess. Intriguing. You know, this weigh-in provided us with almost exactly what we thought we were going to see from these two men.
All right, Paulie, what'd you think?
I hope it's not his last fight. but no, I thought it was, you know, Conor being Conor and Floyd being Floyd. I think at this point in Floyd's life, he has a calmer demeanor than he used to when he was older. You know, when he's younger, I think that's only natural. And Conor uses that hyper ball that he has. You know, the animated stuff that gets the crowd into it. It gets himself pumped up. So I thought it was par for the course for both guys using their personalities. I think both guys are ready. They feel confident, and we'll see.
Pat, what'd you think here from what you saw the back and forth and how both guys look?
Well, number one, UFC weigh-ins are huge. They filled a 20,000-seat arena. This is massive. And also the fact that Floyd came in at 149 pounds, he's not out of shape. He's ready to roll.
Hey, look, I want you to take me back to 1995. You had your first MMA fight back then. Did you ever think that you would see an MMA fighter not only take part in a weigh-in, but really take part in a fight on this grand a scale?
You know, we went from telling people why we had black eyes on planes coming back from Japan to this. I knew it would get big, but nothing like this, Brian.
Yeah, feather in the cap to what Conor McGregor has done, and guys like you, because you certainly have paved the way. You know, with Pat's extensive MMA background and Paulie's boxing experience, we decided to put them both together in the ring to give you, the fan, really a sense of what an MMA fighter has to go through to make the transition from the cage to the ring.
Paulie, I'm the MMA fighter. Fix me in the basic bullet points. What do I have to fix to go from MMA to boxing?
First thing we're going to go over is some of the footwork.
So Paulie, an MMA fighter, is going to stand squared up like this with a wider stance to defend against the kicks. Got to deal with takedowns from a wrestler, things like that. In a boxing match, it's not going to work.
While you're more squared up, you're going to give me the entire arsenal as far as if I want to hook, you're going to give me this jab to the stomach. You're going to give me a jab to the head. Now, if your weight is transitioned correctly and your shoulder is leading towards me, now I have a smaller target. You're more protected staying at an angle.
Okay. High-level boxers have incredible head movement. Explain the reason for that.
In boxing, it's best to make the punch miss by as little as possible. The head movement is most effective when you can punch over it.
So if my jab slides past you here,
I can come back over the top.
Right.
It's a mental pressure as well. You say you throw a combination, nothing lands cleanly. I'm still in your face. But with mixed martial arts, there's a difference because
Too much head movement can get you kicked, right? So what happens?
The head movement in MMA, people are afraid of a shin bone coming up and crushing them. Head movement's not a bad thing in MMA either. It's just you have to, exactly what you're talking about, shrink it down.
We spoke about the fundamental differences in stances, right? The jab now kind of plays into this. In a boxing stance, you're pushing off the back foot and you're driving the jab. It looks like it's coming from the elbow, right? Because you're bending it, but in reality, the shot is coming from your back, from your shoulder. You're driving. Do they do that in mixed martial arts, or is that a less used form of it and now has to be corrected coming to boxing?
If a jab hits like this, instead of like a piston going in, there's going to be give here instead of in their body.
Right.
So besides the absolute top strikers in MMA, you've got to correct everything about it.
Boxing match, 20 by 20 foot ring. It's not a cage. Working off the cage is different than working off the ropes.
You could spar for 12 rounds with me with your body on the ropes. MMA fighters generally aren't comfortable against the surface because that's where a lot of damage is done.
And also there's less give, right, on the cage as opposed to the rope?
There is no give against the cage. It's like a cheese grater when you get ground on it.
So you don't even want to lean on it
No.
as opposed to the rope. So you can give some of these.
Yeah.
Both Mayweather and McGregor are very confident guys.
McGregor, of course he's younger, of course he's bigger, of course he's a lefty, but more than anything, McGregor's confidence is the thing that he brings into this fight that gives him that chance to become the first guy to defeat Floyd Mayweather.
You know, I got to say, watching that was really insightful. That's a great job by you two. And being a martial artist myself, the one thing I came away with watching that was the training. Pat, you know this very well. Training for a mixed martial artist is totally different than for a boxer.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do more explosive work in MMA training, more powerlifting, more Olympic lifts. You know, in boxing, it's an aerobic activity. It's an aerobic sport, so you got to do more road work, work a lot more jump rope, work a lot more coordination skills, fast footwork, but also spend a lot of time in the pocket with good boxers sparring. That's the only way you're going to learn how to box is getting beat up by boxers in the pocket, face to face.
You know that very well. It's about the training for the boxing.
Yeah, you know, and even boxers, when we learn to box, we got to get beat up in the pocket. You know, I remember being a teenager learning to box, and I had to take my lumps as well. It's the only way you learn is through that experience. I think one of the major differences is sparring. I can remember Conor talking about the way he talked about our sparring, that it was going to be a fight. I think maybe he wasn't used to the fact that maybe in training camps in boxing, it's always a fight. Sparring is always a fight. So I think there's also a difference there where you learn that in sparring for a professional boxing match is always high level intensity kind of sparring, high level contact kind of sparring.
You know, I thought one thing was interesting as you see Floyd Mayweather there, he's getting ready to leave the arena here. In that piece, at one point, you guys talked about fighting on the ropes. Here's Conor McGregor. He's dressed. He's heading out of the T-Mobile Arena. You talked about fighting on the ropes there and the art to fighting on the inside. And you know, when it comes to a mixed martial artist, it's all about leverage. You know, he wants to grab you, things of that nature. How much do you think, let's say, a Conor McGregor will be able to get away with if we get in close and you want to try to use and grab things of that nature?
You know, I think he's got to make it quick, but there are things you can do. You can push down on the forearms to wear out the delt muscles. You can block a leg and push with your head, knock somebody off balance, things of that nature, snap down on the head, and things that referees in boxing aren't aware of. Putting my knee against my opponent's knee to lock his leg out, so when I do pop his head, it totally bends him over and I can unload on him. That's things that professional boxing referees do not know.
What can you get away with, you think?
Pat makes a great point. You know, everything you do, you have to do it subtly and in short time. You know, if you push down somebody's head, you can't hold it down. It's got to be subtle, and you got to get off the shot with the other hand and quickly let it go. Little fouls, little pushes. You have to. You are able to get away with them if they're short and sweet, but you got to be careful not to get punched in the mouth while you're doing them. So you got to be careful of offense and defense.
You guys know a number of people, and I'm sure they've asked you guys this too. What if something crazy happens and Conor wants to kick him, wants to throw an elbow? Hey, look, there is a 7-figure penalty for Conor McGregor.
The money fight for anything.
But only
You're
for
absolutely right. Hey, why don't you walk us through the tail of the tape here for this fight?
Yeah, it's fascinating, and especially now that we saw the weights of these two fighters. Of course, the thing that jumps out at us most, the age. Floyd Mayweather at age 40, coming off a more than 2-year layoff, the longest of his career, and McGregor at 29, right in his prime. Now, we saw the weights at 149.5 for Mayweather, a little bit over being a welterweight. McGregor at that 153. Now, McGregor has fought at the 155-pound limit, about 154 for the MMA, 10 times. This is only the 4th time for Floyd Mayweather, and we've acknowledged, Pat, that McGregor's going to be a lot bigger when he comes in to the ring.
Yeah, he will, and that's something that MMA fighters do because predominantly there's a lot of wrestlers in the sport. They know how to cut weight. They cut big chunks of weight last minute and then rehydrate. So he will come in 170 probably tomorrow.
You know, listen, he's certainly got the advantages on paper. It's probably one of the reasons why when you look at Vegas and the betting favorite, he's a 6-1 underdog. Those are the same odds Miguel Cotto had when he fought Floyd Mayweather, Marcos Maidana. And this guy hasn't even had a professional fight yet in the ring. Kudos to Conor McGregor to get to this point. Let's go down to the ring. Our Jim Gray is with some special guests.
Thank you, Brian. I am indeed. I'm here with Draymond Green, Paul George, and Mikey Garcia. Draymond, you're a big fight fan. Have you ever seen an atmosphere quite like this for a weigh-in? You just finished playing in a couple of NBA finals in a row here now. Is it anything like you've seen here today?
Absolutely not. You know, playing in the finals is amazing. You know, the feeling that you get. But, like, I had chills watching that today, watching those guys walk out and up there on the stage. It's, like you said, the only thing that I can compare to that feeling was the opening ceremony of the Olympics. It's incredible.
Now, you've had Floyd at a lot of your games, hollering and screaming, sitting courtside, those 3 finals that you've played in. What does he say to you guys, and do you hear him when he's speaking?
You always hear him, and obviously, you know, you see Floyd in the, you know, courtside, you always go talk to him, you know, but, you know, Floyd's the type of guy, he's always talking junk. He's always trying to get you to talk about the other opponent. You know, so you definitely hear him all the time.
And is that how you guys became friends, because he came to so many games?
Absolutely. Obviously met him at a game, and then, you know, we had a very organic connection, both being from the state of Michigan. So it was great.
Now, has he taught you anything about fighting? Because I see you get pretty rough out there on the court, and you do want to show a little bit of that bravado from time to time. Have you had any sessions with Floyd where he's giving you some tips?
No, not at all. If I use his tips, I'll be out of every game, so I try to leave his tips where they are.
Paul, you're also an MMA guy. How do you see this fight here tomorrow night and the rise of Conor McGregor?
Honestly, I see a lot of teaching points on Floyd's behalf. I'm a huge McGregor fan, but he's outmatched. This is not his playing field right here. I got Floyd really putting on a show, giving the fans what they want to see, and embarrassing Conor tomorrow.
Now he screams at you as well. When you were with the Pacers a few times, he'd let you know how he felt while you were out there on the court. Are you going to reverse that tomorrow night?
Yeah. I don't think he'll hear me from where we at. Floyd a pretty locked-in guy, but he got my support. I'm in his corner.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about this summer of transition for the NBA. First-year move, being traded by the Pacers over to Oklahoma City. A lot of talk that you want to end up in Los Angeles. Where is this all going to shake out at, and how difficult is it now to go through the possibility of switching teams on a number of occasions?
It's difficult in the terms of, you know, I really love Indiana. I grew up there. I became a man there. A lot of obstacles I've overcame there, and they've had my back. I still love Indiana. It's a new chapter, a new start. I made a move that was best for myself and that was best for my family, and I'm happy, you know, for that move. We'll see. I'm a Thunder, and, you know, my job is to give them the best I have this year and see what happens after that.
Kyrie Irving's got a new team. You faced him 3 times now in the finals. How about him moving over?
Man, I think it's, you know, when I look at the situation, I think it's a great team for both moves. You know, with Kyrie going to a team where doesn't have to rebuild, you know, he's played in the finals 3 straight years now. You want to continue to taste that. So him going to a team that doesn't have to rebuild, that'll be a contender. And then, you know, the Cavs getting IT, you know, and also getting a top 5 pick. I think the underrated part of that trade, though, is Jay Crowder, who's on a team-friendly deal. You know, one of the best defenders, you know, best perimeter defenders our league has seen, you know, can knock the shot down. Also want to wish Jay well, you know, with his mom passing yesterday, you know, want to send him all my condolences and, you know, wish him and his family well.
We all do. Let's bring in Mikey right now. Mikey, how do you see this fight tomorrow night? A guy who's never boxed professionally against perhaps the greatest, not only of his generation, but one of the greatest of all time.
Well, it's never been done before, and there was a lot of criticism early on, but you know what? It's the best of MMA versus the best in boxing, so why not give it a shot and see what happens? I think Floyd wins because it's in the boxing ring, but I think Conor will have some success in a few rounds. He'll be able to land some shots, and I think it'll be a good fight overall.
What would you try and take advantage of, knowing that he doesn't have the experience that other fighters bring into the ring?
Well, because Conor doesn't have the experience, I think he's going to be a little awkward early on, and punching from different angles, different combinations, switching stands left and right, and that might actually give Floyd something to look for and complicate things a little bit. But eventually Floyd will make the adjustments because he's done it so many times. He's been in the ring, you know, all 49 times, and all the sparring sessions, he's seen it all. So I think Floyd will capitalize on the openings, the overcommitment by Conor. He's going to be able to counter, and I think he'll go 12 rounds, but he'll be comfortable enough to win the fight.
Final quick thought. Do you think Floyd's retiring, or would you like to see him stay around and perhaps lose a little bit more weight and you come up a bit more?
Man, if he wins this, I wish I could get in the ring with him after, but you know what? I think he finally gets, you know, to retire officially after this. I don't think there's anything big enough for him after this fight.
Mikey, we appreciate it. Draymond, Paul, enjoy the fight tomorrow night. Thanks for taking some time with us.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back upstairs to Brian.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. You know, Mayweather, McGregor, it is the main event of tomorrow night's pay-per-view card, but you'll also see 3 additional fights. 2 of those world title bouts, and all 3 featuring members of the Mayweather stable of fighters. Now, 2 of these fighters have close connections to Floyd Mayweather and have already won world titles, and both have visions of filling the void left by their departing mentor. Floyd Mayweather started fighting at the age of 6 under the tutelage of his father and his uncle. Now the greatest boxer of his era carries on the tradition by guiding the next generation of fighters.
Oh, Petrosa goes down! And the mentor, Floyd Mayweather, celebrating.
And the new.
Floyd, is this the future of boxing?
Absolutely.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Only 22 years old and already a world champion, Davis is perhaps the brightest star in the Mayweather constellation.
It's my little killer right here. When your next fight, champ? He fight on my card. What? He world champion, the youngest world champion in boxing. Okay, there you go, you real. Oh, he official.
At the young age of 7, Davis found sanctuary in Baltimore's fabled Upton Boxing Center, where he dedicated himself to his craft. Determined to make a better life for himself, Davis turned pro and scored an impressive string of knockouts before catching the eye of his boxing idol.
You can win the whole fight with a jab. See? I'm here to help you.
Tomorrow night, in the penultimate bout, Mayweather's protege will defend his title on what promises to be sport's biggest stage.
It's time for me to step up to that plate and continue this road of success.
Good work, good work, good work.
Joining Davis on their mentor's undercard is Badu Jack, who first caught Floyd's attention years ago in the gym.
Floyd saw me spar. After that, he wanted to sign me.
One day I seen Badu Jack when he was working with a guy in my gym, and I said, that's a fighter that I got to have. Keep boxing off the pivot.
Every time he's in the gym and he see me train, he always gives me some tips. You know, I learned a lot of things from him.
I'm able to give fighters input and not just financially, but the mental part about boxing, the physical part about boxing.
Badu Jack last fought fellow belt holder James DeGale in an effort to unify the super middleweight division.
Jim Gale is down! What drama here in round 12!
Fighting to a draw, both Jack and DeGale showed incredible mettle in an early Fight of the Year candidate. Now Badu Jack moves up to light heavyweight in hopes of becoming a 2-division world champion. Tomorrow night, Floyd Mayweather will enter the ring for the last time as a fighter. Now it's time for Gervonta Davis and Badu Jack to step into the spotlight.
It's a new kid in town, and he's ready to take over. I was made for this.
Back here with my guys, you know, interesting piece when you look at what Gervonta Davis and Badu Jack has done. One guy you didn't see in that piece who will start the night on our pay-per-view card is Andrew Tabiti, who will be taking on Steve Cunningham, former world champion at cruiserweight. He's got a tough task ahead of him.
Yeah, it's a division that is red hot right now, the cruiserweights. And what about the stock of Andrew Tabiti in the Mayweather promotion, because he gets an opportunity to kick off the pay-per-view in front of the biggest audience that he will have ever faced. And he's 14-0, a lot of pop at cruiserweight, 12 knockouts, including 10 in a row to begin his career. And yeah, he faces the most experienced opponent of his embryonic start in a former 2-time cruiserweight champion. Steve USS Cunningham looked great on the scales at the age of 41, but that chin has been checked more than once, and it could be a symbolic passing of the torch when it comes to when you face a cruiserweight in America.
Listen, if he wants to take that next step as one of the top contenders in cruiserweight, what better way than beating a former world champion who believes his best days still aren't done? Should be an interesting fight. It will start tonight. Al, then you've got Badu Jack, who is making his debut at light heavyweight against a world champion in Nathan Cleverly.
Yeah, very interesting fight to me. You know, Nathan Cleverly, the 30-year-old Brit, who wanted to defend his title for the very first time in this very fight. He wanted to be on this stage in this big fight, and he picked Badou Jack, who, of course, is coming up to the light heavyweight division for the first time. And Nathan Cleverly has been as high as cruiserweight, so he thinks he might be the bigger, stronger guy. In any case, the way their styles match up, going to be a good fight.
And that's the key point there, because both of these guys said this should be the fight of the night because of the way their styles match up. All right, Paulie, then you've got Tank Davis. You saw him. He says he wants to be the next pay-per-view star. It's a great opportunity for him. Boxing purists love Tank Davis. This is now a great opportunity for him to kind of make his way with the casual fan.
Yeah, and by and large, this is looked at as sort of a showcase for Tank Davis. You know, Francisco Fonseca is coming here from Costa Rica, not really known that much outside his native land. And Davis has this big reputation, having had highlight reel knockouts, winning the world title at such a young age. He's the youngest American world champion. But of course, Fonseca hasn't got that memo. You know, he started his career with a draw, and he reeled off 19 straight wins. Yeah, you could say, okay, they haven't been against the best opposition. This is going to be a huge step up. But Fonseca isn't coming here with any respect.
Yeah.
When you dream your whole life of winning the world title, and you come from where Fonseca comes from, the Nicaragua-Costa Rica border, where you're just trying to make your way up by measly ways like being a farmer and things like that. You know, this changes your life. Beating Tank Davis changes your life, so Fonseca is here to change his life.
He said, listen, I need money, and what better way to come here to the States and fight this guy? It should be one heck of a fight. It will be the co-main event. And let me tell you something. Social media has just been on fire, obviously, for this fight because of Mayweather and McGregor, a number of celebs. Hey, take a look. You know Diddy and Mark Wahlberg, they've got a bet, basically, on this fight. Diddy going with Mayweather, Wahlberg going with Conor McGregor. And you know the First Lady of Boxing has to be tweeting about this match. Rosie Perez, you see her there. And Thor. The people in New York know Noah Syndergaard of the Mets. Even he, a big-time boxing fan. And speaking of Thor, how about the guy who played Thor in the movies? Chris Hemsworth also tweeting about that. He said, listen, I know that's a big matchup, but not bigger than Hulk taking on Thor.
Who wins between Thor and the Hulk? I don't know.
Smash. Hulk smash.
Okay.
Well, it should be one heck of a night. What do you expect Saturday night?
I expect fireworks. I expect, you know, a major card. This is a huge event. I expect amazing fireworks in this fight. A lot of, like I said, for me, it's the intensity of McGregor here that can make it exciting. You know, I don't think he matches up well tactically with Floyd. I think Floyd beats him in every department. But McGregor has this intensity and this self-belief. And sometimes when you're young and you have that almost ignorance is bliss kind of mentality, you come with that extra fire. And he's coming with that fire. And who knows, if he can get by those early rounds and have a little bit of success, maybe he can take some momentum going into the middle and late rounds. It's early on, it is the key. He's going to do a lot of wrestling. I've been there. He does a lot of wrestling. But if he can make it effective and land some good shots, maybe going into the middle and late rounds, he's going to give him some eye-opening moments.
Hey, Al, you've done a number of Floyd Mayweather fights, and he said and maintained, you heard him say this basically today, that he's going to stop Conor McGregor. He says he's coming forward in this fight. What do you expect?
Well, I think he wants to get a knockout, but I don't think he's looking for it in the first couple rounds. I've said this before. Floyd Mayweather is like the Borg on Star Trek. You know, you can kill them with those first 4 or 5 shots. Then they adapt, and you can't touch them. And we've seen that in all our fights on Showtime. By round 3 or 4, he controls the fight. The key for Conor McGregor is to be able to land one of those good straight left hands in the first couple rounds and be able to do some of the things that Paulie and Pat talked about. Rough him up a little bit, be a little bit physical, and then maybe get to him before Mayweather can take him in the deep rounds and drown him.
You know, Mo, as you take a look here at Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor's awkward. There's that unknown because you don't know what you're going to get. I think he probably assumed that maybe he's going to switch his stances throughout the fight. What do you expect?
I expect 4 fights, 4 knockouts, meaning go and bet against that because my track record is
it's not very good.
Not very good. And honestly, it's been talked about to death. Let's get to the fight. It's going to be like Paulie said, the first round or 2 is best chance for Conor McGregor to do whatever he's going to attempt to do. It's going to be a tough night.
Well, Conor McGregor, he's left the building. Floyd Mayweather, you know, Hey, look, he knows this is swan song. He's still here doing interviews. Floyd Mayweather will not leave the building.
He was effusive with us in the fighter meeting.
He was. He spent well over 40 minutes with us in the fighter meeting. He knows this is it. That's going to do it from here in Las Vegas. Hey, tomorrow, the pay-per-view starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. It's the main event. It's called the Money Fight. Floyd Money Mayweather against the notorious Conor McGregor. In the co-feature, it's the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship. Gervonta Davis defends his title against Francisco Fonseca. And then the former super middleweight titleist Badou Jack moves up in weight to challenge WBA light heavyweight champ Nathan Cleverly. It's scheduled for 12 rounds. And we open the night with cruiserweights. The undefeated Andrew Tabiti taking on the veteran Steve USS Cunningham. That's going to do it for Showtime Boxing Special Edition. My thanks to Al Bernstein, Mauro Ranallo, Paulie Malignaggi, Jim Gray, and Pat Miletich. I'm Brian Custer. We'll see you tomorrow right here in Las Vegas.